Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Accountability Score Improvement. I am one of your hosts, Will.
I'm AJ, and this is probably the last episode of Accountability Score Improvement we'll do because we're probably
No.
changing the name. I know
Yeah,
we have so many viewers that I got so used to it, but it's over, it's dead after we
yeah.
release this video.
Unfortunately, we're realizing that we're gonna have to make a pivot, but that's okay. Because so far, all of our fan will be able to understand, and they will move forward knowing that we are doing this out of love. Mainly, Accountability Score Improvement was a D&D joke, but now I'm realizing a lot of our stuff is just not about D&D.
No, I mean, we'll definitely talk about D&D at some point more and all that stuff because we love it, but we want to do other stuff too. So I think we'll
Right.
branch out a little bit.
Yes, we have a couple of comic books that we're wanting to talk about, but today, after so much requests, after so many requests from you, the fans, meaning me and AJ,
Which I believe
we
are only 2 subscribers at the moment.
yes, which is what it is. But we are actually going to be talking about the show that just wrapped up, The Acolyte, a Star Wars show on Disney Plus, which was apparently not liked by many people and shit canned in reviews. Which I personally, AJ, I gotta say, I don't think The Acolyte is winning any awards, but I thought it
No,
was pretty good.
I thought it was good. The fact that like I saw so many memes about like people bashing other people for even trying to watch it, like before it even came out.
Oh
Like I
yeah.
saw some like a video where people were like, "I watched the Acolyte," and everyone was like, "Oh, you're an idiot." And I'm like, "The hell? Did it look bad from trailers? I thought it looked pretty good from trailers."
Yeah, no, like I thought it had some pretty decent fight scenes, although I wish they
Great
were a
fight
little bit
scenes.
more well lit in certain scenarios. But great fight scenes, some cool characters, a couple of interesting ideas, although nothing necessarily groundbreaking.
Yeah. I mean, I would argue with the fight scenes. I would argue that this might be some of the best fight scenes in Star Wars.
Yeah,
Like
outside
best
of
fight scene choreography.
yeah, I'd say outside of the prequels, definitely.
I would say Duel of the Fates and the Revenge of the Sith fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan are the only ones that could be better.
Hey, forgot about one big guy.
What,
Forgot
the
about
one
Yoda.
between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader where they hold their sticks and they go wah, wah.
No, it's where tennis ball Yoda fights the Emperor Palpatine. You got to remember this stuff, man.
That one's fine.
How dare you? He threw the whole Senate at him. The whole Senate.
I mean, I guess Yoda versus Dooku is also pretty cool. But it
That
was
was all
mostly
right.
a force battle,
Yeah,
which is
but
cool.
that's okay. But yeah, definitely some good fights, a lot of cool characters, and something that I benefit from whenever I watch Star Wars, a couple of little freaks. Now, let me tell you, everybody, ladies and gentlemen of the
Oh god.
podcast, I gotta tell you, if there's one thing I love about Star Wars, especially the older I get, it's the amount of little freaks
See,
and critters that
he's laughing as he says this, but he has talked about this to me extensively.
I
He
I
legitimately loves his little freaks, and who can blame him? Let's be honest.
yeah. Now, AJ, when I say little freaks, what exactly am I talking about here in the realm of Star Wars?
I would say less than 3 feet tall and a puppet.
Yeah. So it has to be a practical little puppet or a little person inside some sort of mask contraption.
True, I guess
Um,
Jawas might be over 3 feet tall.
yeah, possibly some practical effects, but basically of the Yoda department, the Ewok department, of anything that has a small mouth and a funny voice, I'm gonna look at them and look into their beady little eyes, and I'm gonna be like, hey, the force is with you, but the vertical challenge ain't, buddy.
I still think Chewbacca should have still eaten that porg.
You know what? Well, he did.
No, he like he felt guilty after the porgs looked at him with their little uh cat eyes, like the cat
Yeah,
from Shrek, Puss in Boots.
yes, but let's go through the Acolyte now. We have 8 episodes. The first one, Lost / Found. The second, Revenge / Justice. 3, Destiny. 4, Day. 5, Night. Number 6, Teach / Corrupt. Number 7, Choice. And number 8, just episode 8. I guess they just got tired of
It was the
naming.
Acolyte. They get called it the Acolyte.
Oh, okay, I see.
Well, you notice every episode except for the Acolyte has a counterpart. Like some of them have, like 3 of them have the counterpart in the name, but then there's like Choice versus Destiny and Day versus Night as well.
Yes. Yeah. So, let's start off with episode number 1, Lost versus Found. I thought this was a pretty good intro. We got to see our 2 protagonists, deuteragonists.
Yeah.
That being the twins May and Osha, who we do not know are twins at the very beginning. Spoiler alert. But
what I really loved about that is that they didn't treat it like it was some sort of twist.
right.
Like they didn't treat us like you were an idiot and be like, oh, they're twins. It was like, okay, there's twins. We're gonna make it a little bit muddled at the beginning, but then it's like, yeah, they're twins. We're not gonna. I was really worried they do a Jekyll Hyde situation where it's like, oh, she's has schizophrenia and is now a different person. And I'm like, that's not what I want. That's for Moon Knight, and Moon Knight was great, but
Yeah. She ain't no Oscar Isaac. That's all we're saying. If only.
she did a good
But
job though.
no, she did a very good job, especially as dual roles, which I always wonder, do you think she gets paid double or do you think she gets paid the same for playing 2 characters?
She gets paid the same.
Yeah.
There's no way.
It's okay. We don't judge. But yeah, we get introduced to plenty of cool characters who will be around forever, such as Master Indara, Yord, Jackie, all kinds of cool people who will be with us for the entirety of the series.
Yeah. Master Andara, Trinity from The Matrix, goes out in like the opening scene.
Yeah, no, it's a good fight. May has her whole attack me with all your strength. Like
and she's like, why the hell would I do that?
I know. And she's like, we don't attack the unarmed. It's like, yes, you do. And clearly May is just full of rage and piss and vinegar. It's a whole thing, which at first I didn't love. I thought she was putting it on a little thick, but I think we just needed a moment to kind of warm up to it, and then I was good.
Well, and you also saw at the end of that fight where she like chose not to kill the witness.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so they're doing the classic Star Wars thing, which is not a bad thing of like there's always conflict in like their resolution to the light or dark side. Like, so she's good. But yeah, I thought it was great. I liked the scene. It's good.
Yeah. It was a good fight scene too. A lot of good wire work. I enjoyed it a lot. And the lightsaber was not out until it had to be, because apparently during the High Republic, which is the era we're in, about 100 years before the Phantom Menace, one does not pull out a lightsaber unless they have the intent to kill, which, wow, we just must have had some really bloodthirsty Jedis around the
They're
time.
Just trying to compare dick sizes, you know.
Yeah, it's all right. But yeah, also, I don't know if you noticed this, during the High Republic, a lot of robe fashion, a lot of fashion with robes that people are just gold trim and like, ruby. And
yeah. Apparently the lore is that like when they're like being Jedi, like in the temple and stuff, they wear like the white garbs, and like the brown is their mission robes when they're going out to do missions stuff. So I thought it was an interesting choice. I thought they looked pretty cool. There was, towards the beginning, there was like Yord's apprentice that never made another appearance the rest of the show.
Yeah, so Yord goes to basically interrogate Osha, who is the other half of the twins, who we imagine is the light side twin because she went to become a Jedi and she dropped out because she couldn't handle her anger and things like that. But
they don't tell you till later, which is one of the problems, is that they really don't. They don't do a good job of setting that up. They like hint at it and they're like, yeah, I failed. I failed to be a Jedi. But they don't really like show it at all.
Yeah,
it's like
they kind of
show don't tell. And they told a little bit, but they did not show whatsoever until last episode. Again, we both loved the show.
Yeah.
in general. We both loved it more than the general public seems to.
Yeah.
But there are problems, and we're going to point them out as we go.
Yeah, at first they kind of treated it like she was one of those kids who was gonna go to college, but then like took a gap year. It's like I'm just kind of figuring
Yeah,
things
yeah.
out, and I'm a mech neck now, which just say mechanic. We could just say mechanic.
But it's fantasy Star Wars.
It's
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 fantasy space.
it's
They got to
fantasy.
be special.
You can't play with the lore.
Well,
But
yeah,
yeah,
they
she
go to
meets one of
go
her
out
old
on a
Jedi
dare.
friends, Yord, who is just a himbo, just a lovable himbo who has a Padawan that we never see again.
Yeah,
Good on him.
look, Yord, my favorite character. I love Yord. He was awesome. He was like definitely like had a stick up his ass the whole time, but I loved that about him, and I loved how just like he was always good. He was very straight laced, but he was always like good and fair.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Speaking about good Jedis, a personal favorite of mine, for the most part, is Master Soul, who we
Hmm.
get introduced to as well. Now, Master Soul was the former master to Osha before she left the Order. He seems like a pretty straight-laced Jedi, very cool, very fair, who is now master to the Padawan Jackie, who is also pretty
Daphne
cool.
Keene. Yeah.
Yeah, played by Daphne Keene, X-23 herself. Uh, Very interesting that she's in a Star Wars show, but cool to see her
Yeah.
nonetheless. But yeah, there's a whole hubbub that Osha killed a bunch of people and a Jedi on a Outer Rim world, and Soul doesn't believe it. Says there must be some kind of misunderstanding. Of course, now let's cut to the pretense. There's twins, May and Osha. We understand this. So Osha gets locked up and she starts getting sent to Coruscant for interrogation and one would assume a trial. And we also meet a Master Vernestra, who apparently is also from the High Republic comics and books.
Which I'm
Wow,
starting to read, so I'll start to learn about her more. But
right. What we know so far, she's green, she is large and in charge, and she has a lightsaber whip.
yep,
So
yep, purple. And a lot of baggage that I've heard is not really present in the High Republic books. But
yeah, there is a lot of stuff about her that I feel like we can't even really talk about until later because Jesus Christ, all that we know is
well,
that she is just very tense, very uptight right away.
the actress did a great job with
Oh
the
yeah.
script she was given, but they set her up as like a really big character by the end and didn't really give her a lot before that to do anything to like make us care about her or anything like that.
Yeah.
It just that again, one of the other problems is like they didn't really set her up very well, but she was cool and I think the actress was awesome. She
Right.
had
It's
a cool design. Lightsaber I thought was cool.
yeah. Plus, in her defense, they she is very much a Mace Windu type, kind of uptight, has a
Yeah.
purple lightsaber. Not a lot going for her in the sense of why do we care about her?
Well, it's Samuel Jackson.
Right. Okay. Well, you can't just like a character because Samuel L. Jackson plays it. That's
That is
all I'm saying.
absolutely why people like Mace Windu. There is no other reason to like Mace Windu.
All right. Fair enough. Moving on. So, we end up the end of the first episode basically establishing that they are twins. Osha gets picked up by the Jedi. She says, "I didn't kill them," and Soul says, "I believe you," because trust is gained that quickly.
Well,
Um,
honestly, if they didn't treat us like idiots. If they had spent a lot of time like just like being like, we don't believe you, we think you're lying, like stuff, the audience would have been like, well, we know that's not true. Can we stop belaboring this point? We know you're eventually gonna believe her. So I'm really glad that they didn't just
yeah,
like, no, we gotta really interrogate you. He's like, no, that makes sense. I understand. Cool. We're past that twist. We don't need to spend a lot of time dwelling on that, wasting that time. So
yeah.
I liked that they immediately was like, trust. Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
also hints to attachments, which I believe are forbidden in the Jedi Order, considering Sol is quite attached to his former Padawan.
Again, why Yord was very, very good, because he was like, no, I'm still gonna arrest you, even though like I do like you. We were friends. But he's like, no, I know how I was trained, and that's not to have tensions. Again, Yord is great. Love him.
Yeah, good defensive Yord. You definitely put up the Trump hands for your. I look at this Jedi. I said, "Wow, what a great Jedi!"
Very good. I love
You,
you.
you know
God,
these dark side users, they're so bad. We're not gonna do that
I
because
dust my
that'll.
face with Cheetos.
Yes, dust the face with Cheetos. Oh, we got a Zabrak. So we move on to episode 2, Revenge/Justice. Also, quick step back. In episode 1 at the very end, we get introduced to the Sith Lord, who is just basically looks like he has a Kylo Ren helmet and has a red lightsaber. That's all we get at episode 1.
Yeah. Ignites the
Episode 2.
lightsaber. Don't know why he ignites the lightsaber. Probably for the cool shot.
Yeah, that one was kind of stupid. In retrospect, it was kind of try-hardy,
I
but
think it was like, oh, hey, audience, this is a Sith. This is
Sith.
a guy with a lightsaber. You know that now
Yeah,
because of the way
and
the camera
he
did.
activated his lightsaber, so he intends to kill by the rules of the show.
Right.
So episode 2, Revenge/Justice. This is where we get introduced to May again, and we learn that she has a hit list. It's not just this Jedi that she's supposed to take care of. She's got like 3 other Jedi that are on her list, and the next one is a Master Torben,
Yep.
who, man, just has baby face after 16 years of taking the Barash vow.
Brash vow, he swore to silence for like I think 10 of those 16 years. So he's just like a dude and he floats there with some really good practical effects. But yeah, I mean he's played by a younger actor because spoiler alert, there are flashback scenes where he gets to be a younger Padawan.
Yeah, and he doesn't look so freaking awkward, It's just that receding hairline and obviously fake beard. But basically, we get introduced to some like Outer Rim Jedi, which I'm sorry, the way they paint these Jedi,
Bumbling
really
idiots.
incompetent, bumbling idiots, which I think is, I feel like this show has a real thing where they want to show Jedi as A, bumbling idiots, or B, like sort of like dogmatic cops is
Yeah.
what they want them to be seen like. But literally, this one Jedi catches a kid who snuck into the temple. So, well, look what we found here. We did, and he's a fat Jedi, which is a first. And he's just running around, and he's
Yeah.
not jolly. He's not jolly at all. He
No,
almost
he's
looks like
super uptight.
he's really uptight. Looks like he should have like a nightstick and be like, "Well, we found a kid running around in the bakery. We did."
Well, think about this. He's probably a Jedi Knight.
Yeah,
Like,
not a master.
which means he probably passed his Padawan trials somehow.
Yeah, maybe he let himself go. Maybe there
Maybe
was a
he's
midlife.
really powerful in the Force and just like can just leap like a
Yeah,
bouncing ball.
yeah, really alienating all the fat Jedi out there.
Actor, great job. He did a great job.
He
He
did
seemed
a
really
great
nice. I
job.
want to be
Just
his friend.
really, yep. I bet he's a good guy. So we get introduced to them. Basically, we learn that May has been sort of sneaking around and trying to do surveillance at this Jedi temple in the Outer Rim, to try and kill Torben, who she cannot kill because of the Barash vow, sort of blocking them from any outside influence. So what does she do? She calls in some help from what we believe at first is maybe another acolyte of the Sith, Chimere. And Chimere is just when we first saw him, I just thought to myself, wow, what a soaking wet weasel.
Yep. And he like quotes the Sith code and like talks all this stuff about like poison and knows a lot of stuff and also is able to beat up May really quickly. When they
Yeah.
like first meet him. So everyone's like, okay, what's up with this guy? Who the hell is he? Is he another acolyte?
Right, and it's kind of the question because we see that he killed the local drugstore owner in the background. He's sort of quoting the Sith code, "Peace is a lie," and he says, "Well, if you can't attack him directly, use poison."
Yep,
And I don't know, convince him to use it somehow.
he'll
So
probably do it.
they,
He'll
yes,
probably do it.
it probably do. He's good, and he's kind of fun. He's kind of You know what? If anything, he's a little bit of a freak himself, but he's a human freak because he's all awkward and bumbly. It reminds me of Yoda, but we'll get back to that
Yeah, yeah,
comparison
yeah.
in a little bit. For right now, and May goes to the temple, and Osha and the Jedi squad, they come in and they basically say, "We need to see Master Torben right now." So they make their way, they're going through the halls, and oh no, May gets to him first and basically says, "Hey, I bet you feel bad about all that shit you did like 16 years ago. Why don't you take a little guzzle of this Gatorade here, homie?"
And then he opens his eyes, which has like a big scar on it, and he's like, "You're right. I'm sorry. I've been waiting for you, and I've been waiting to kill myself when I saw you again.
Yeah,
I don't know
and then
why I
he
didn't do it
just
earlier."
right, like, is there some kind of rule against suicide? Like,
It's pretty dark. I will say I don't hate Torben as a character. We'll talk more about him later, but I don't hate him as a character. It was a weird choice. It was a weird choice.
yeah, it was interesting to look at him. Also, that eye is ragged. That thing still looks infected. I mean, it looks like a fish eye at this point, like just like cut up.
Hey, I think in canon they don't have that good water that they just put people in that heals them. What's that?
Bacta,
Bacta? I think in canon they don't have Bacta yet.
which is insane. Which
Yeah.
it's crazy. I wonder when it was invented, just to get to the point of like, when do we get that? We
So
just have
so
the cure all for death.
I did start reading the High Republic books. I started to read with the first one, Light of the Jedi, and like there's like an offhand line of like, man, they're like even growing some Bacta there. It's like a new technology if we can figure out how to use it and grow enough of it. And I'm
Right.
like, okay, okay, I see what you did there, Star Wars. You did a little lore drop for me. Thank you.
Right. It's like when Apple is just starting out and Forrest Gump is like, "Well, I invested in a fruit company." Whoever is at the ground floor of Bacta is just fucking swimming in it
Oh yeah.
by, Phantom Menace, just getting that milk money, getting it good.
Oh yeah.
You
Well,
know,
milk money, we got green and blue milk. We can't mix those terms.
no, no, no. But no, so Torben takes the poison, and now the general like, well, crap, we missed it.
Well, another good moment is like before that, Osha like is having visions of May. She splits off from the party, and she like comes across him dead before everyone else, and everyone else comes over, and I'm like, oh, "You killed another one. It is your fault." And thank God, again, they didn't dwell on it because Yord is like, "Yeah, no, I followed her. She didn't do it." Because if they had done the whole like "let's arrest her again" thing, God, that would have taken so long. Thank
Oh
God for
yeah.
Yord.
Yeah, thank God for Yord being a little creep, who at first I wondered with his build, I was like, is he a Sith Lord? Is he a little bit of dark side? But no, he's just really super freaking fit. Like this guy is cut.
He is,
Yord, dude, Yord has a deep V. He's got multiple V's.
yeah.
He's got so many V's he can make a Z like Zorro. So it's really important to hit on that point. He steams his robes, which I think is interesting.
Again, love the man. Just adorable.
Yeah, the
Adorable.
Jedi very focused on cosmetics during this era. It
Yeah.
feels like a lot of Jedi drip.
Well, this is a
I
time of peace. We know peace is a lie, but this is a time where they can kind of focus on the more stuff because everyone's wealthy because it's the High Republic when it's like its heyday. It's before the Clone Wars hit and like the Trade Federation stuff starts up. Oh, we forgot to mention we do see some Trade Federation people at the beginning of the show.
yes, and they do not talk like they used to.
They're a little bit less racist, which is a
Yeah.
good change.
Yes, and Robin Atkin Downs voices them, and it's okay. And he's got a captain hat, so it's nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yes, we get the Trade Federation. So the Jedi hope to try and catch May by going to Chimere, who they believe gave her the poison. They do a little sting operation. Osha tries to dress like May. Chimere sniffs it a mile away. Nevertheless, the Jedi jump in and they're like, hey, now, well, we might give you a warning if you tell us where May went, which seems very odd for the space cops of the Republic to be, hey, you
I
aided and
mean,
abetted a murderer.
and
We'll let
killed
you
a
off the
guy.
warning.
And killed a guy. But then they're like, you know what? We'll just put surveillance on him. We'll put the fat guy on him.
Yeah.
We'll put him on him. We'll have him watch him. He's good. He's got to be good at his job,
Yeah,
right?
he'll lean on
He
him
has
a
a
little
British
bit,
accent.
you know. Yeah, every British person is really good at their job in Star Wars.
In
That
this
is
show,
the
it's the opposite of the truth. In like the prequels, I mean, you got like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, well, it was a different time as we've established, but they try and figure out where May is. Soul has a confrontation with her. She has this sort of face within the first two episodes whenever she's confronted by a Jedi. She genuinely has like childlike eyes. Like she looks like a quivering puppy sometimes. You know what I mean?
Kind of looks like one of those like 6-year-olds when they like stick your chin up at you and they're like super ornery and they're like, and they say no to you.
Yeah, a lot of pouty lip. A lot
I
of
mean,
pouty lip going on.
I mean, not trying to that I it's good acting. I'm not saying it's
Oh
bad.
no, it's good. But it just was something I was noticing. I was like, oh, someone's doing a choice here.
Well, let's be honest. We all love Hayden Christensen.
Love
It's a better
him.
choice than the
For our audio viewers, see, look up a image of Hayden Christensen when he did that
uh,
little visual aid.
yeah,
But
when he does like the Anakin brows, he like lowers his head and he goes, "I
yeah,
killed all the women and the children."
sorry, my lady. But we actually get some cool force powers here. You know, good use of the force in this fight. Not a lot of lightsaber battle going on. And May and Osha see each other face to face. Osha tries to shoot her. She misses. And yeah, that kind of ends episode 2. And then we get into episode 3,
So three
baby. Destiny, which is just a flashback. The whole episode is a
is a
flashback
flashback where
episode
they explain next to nothing.
where they explain that May and Osha come from a clan of witches on the planet Brendok. Now, Brendok is going to be important later, but for right now, all we know is that it's a whole coven of witches. And boy, if you know something about witches in the Star Wars universe, they are not little, but they are definitely freaks. These ladies are freaks, baby, and they don't use the Force. They use something called the Thread, which is the same goddamn thing,
It's the
but
same thing, but it looks different, and
it's
it's
more
like you can actually see
tantric.
visual cues.
Yeah,
I think it's cool. I mean, it's just another
right.
interpretation of the Force.
It's using a lot of like interpretive dance and Laban movement. You know, it's very fun.
But I
Um,
kind of view it as like another religion because it's like all the Islamic religions like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, like they're all based on like the same mythos
right.
or whatever they're all. So it's kind of like, yeah, this is also the Force, but we're calling it by a different name.
Yeah, because we're like that. Yeah, cool thing. You get to see how May and Osha grew up, and wow, is it very much like the Jedi, but also, I'm just gonna say it, the Jedi more inclusive than these witches because they accept all genders. These witches only accept women.
Hey, there
Why
might be
is
some
that, AJ?
non-binary folks in there. You
Or
don't
yeah,
know.
there could be some non-binary, but I see some discrimination going on here.
Yeah, and as straight white men, we are here to talk about discrimination and to really speak for the people that have been discriminated against.
And
That
may
is
the
our
force
job.
be with you. Yes, but no,
And there's a
we
lot of good
start to
representation on this show in general. I think it's
yeah.
awesome.
No, it's all very good. But so we basically see May and Osha's two moms. One is a Zabrak, I'm just gonna say it, bitch. Just she's very
Yeah,
uptight.
yeah.
Uh, she's basically the Mace Windu of her coven. You know, just really digging in deep to these kids, just giving them the hard ball all day long.
It's like,
And
how
then
dare
there,
you go near a tree? What the hell is wrong with you?
how dare you enjoy your childhood? You are sworn sacrifices. Um,
Yeah, we don't ever find out what they're supposed to be. They
no,
could have been sacrifices, but
yeah,
I don't think so. But it could have been.
it was strange. But their other mom seems very nice, very matronly. Apparently, using the thread, they created life. They
Yeah,
created twins inside the womb of one of their moms
the Zabrak.
and the Zabrak. And that's pretty interesting to see, considering the fact that up until this point, the only one who we thought was created from the Force itself was Anakin.
Well, Darth Plagueis the Wise learned how to create life and manipulate midichlorians to create life, and that might come up later.
Yeah, who's to say that he
How did
didn't
he figure
learn it?
that out? We don't
Maybe he
know.
learned from somebody and somebody learned it from them and so on and so forth. Um, but yeah, we see that the girls are being prepared for some sort of ceremony where they're supposed to accept some sort of head tattoo. It's very unclear.
Yeah,
The
I mean, the
witches
main
don't
mother
have a
has one in the center, and then
yeah,
May gets one on the side of her head.
yeah,
I
which I
assume Osha was
imagine,
supposed to get one on the other side.
yeah, and then balance, you know. So they May ends up accepting her head tattoo. Osha's like, no, I don't know. I'm not fully committed to this family. I feel like there's something
And
more. And then
then,
we get a couple of Jedi walking in, big dick swinging in the room, and they got a Wookiee
yeah, we
baby.
saw Soul creeping on them earlier. Soul's a young boy or young man with like a really attractive haircut, unlike
Oh,
what
so
he has,
good.
unlike the mullet that he has in the regular show. Very Obi-Wan Kenobi of him, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, these four Jedi, or three Jedi and a Padawan. We got Torben, we got Master Indara, we got Soul, and we have I forget what the Wookiee's name was. It was
Kalmaka?
yeah, Kelnaka,
Yeah, yeah.
which
Torben's
looks
the Padawan to Andara. She's
yeah,
under.
we learned that. And Kelnaka, I'm just gonna say it. Wookiees look weird in a Jedi robe. Just a little strange. Looks a little
Wookiees look
skinny.
weird in general. You like your Chewbacca with the dick swinging out. I
I
think it's
hey,
fine to cover it up a little bit.
hey, I like my freaks freaking out. Okay, go full freak. Don't try to civilize yourself for these other
You're saying you
people.
want Yoda to not wear robes? Is that what
I'm
you're
just,
saying?
I want him to be in like a little embryonic sack.
Little pod that flies around and follows a dude with a helmet.
And I want him to ooze and fall out. He goes,
Mm.
and that's how he wakes up every morning from his little fucking egg sack.
I said
Yeah.
we because that's the thing in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Uh,
But we basically see that the Jedi are concerned about what these witches be doing. They say, are you training children? Only Jedi are allowed to train children. They only we are
Only
allowed
we're
to.
allowed to indoctrinate them young. You have to wait till they're older.
Yes, we would like to inspect the children. Matronly
Like to
mom with
see
the
the child.
tattoo. Yeah. They do not take kindly to this. They try and mind control poor little Torben, and they eventually agree. They do some tests. May pretends that she can't read any of the tests and what's going on. And Osha, after some coaxing from Soul, who again we see is very connected to Osha, but not May at all.
Well, May's the one that's like, I love being a witch, and Osha's the one that's like, I don't want to be a witch. I want to see the world. That's like the whole dynamic is, and so like May is like, fuck you, Jedi, and Osha's like, actually, your lightsaber is pretty cool, and I kind of want to stab someone.
Yeah, I kind of get a feeling that I'm going to want to use it later. I
Yeah.
want to abuse power. That's my thing. But they basically let her go, and Osha tells her mama that she wants to be a Jedi. She wants to go out and see the world. And the mom says, well, if this is what you want, my child, let it be.
Then you get the
Osha,
classic Jedi of she's too old, and it's like, okay, we can
yeah,
stop
age
with
does
this
not
shit.
matter. You
Can
you
we?
want to know how many times you've made that exception?
Luke Skywalker was 19.
Yes.
This girl's
Granted, that was
8.
after this, but still. Um, But yeah, the tests go well, and the mom seems pretty amicable. The tattoo mom seems pretty amicable about letting one of her children go. May freaks the hell out, and apparently starts fire to the entire monastery.
Yeah, it's like a mine. It's like they're like living in like an old mine shaft or whatever. Yeah, she sets fire to the door because she's like, "Fuck you, OSHA. You're not allowed to leave me. We're twins and we have to stay together." And OSHA's just like, "Can we not? Can I be my own person, please?" And she's like,
She's like,
"No, fire."
no. Yeah,
Now
which, by the way, we all thought there was going to be some misdirection. No, you find out later she definitely started the fire.
she started the fire. We thought,
And it
yeah,
wasn't
maybe
always burning.
we thought like maybe it was like, oh, maybe there was some like memory alterations to OSHA.
Nope.
Maybe there was like some sort of Sith manipulating OSHA, or sorry, May, which isn't necessarily not true. We'll talk about that later, but it's not true.
Yeah, that was a very interesting thing. But ultimately, it ends with there's a fire, and the two girls are on this scaffolding. The scaffolding breaks,
We see
and
all the dead witches, including the nice mom. We don't see the other mean mom.
Yeah.
We don't find anything about her.
Yeah, and Soul ends up saving OSHA, and they go away and they tell her May started a fire. Some crazy shit happened. Anyway, you're gonna be a Jedi, kiddo.
Hey, your whole family's dead? Let's come be a Jedi. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be just fine.
Yeah, clearly none of your fear will lead to anger, then hate, then suffering. But we won't talk about that. That was basically like when a dog dies and then you give the kid a fish. Like,
I mean, at least it didn't like lie to her, because that would be crazy.
oh, it'd be crazy to lie.
It was a lie of omission, but it was fine. But yeah, for some reason, all of the Jedi in the future are like, yeah, we did something bad.
Yeah.
Because we see the Wookiee, Kanaka, is like, I did something, I'm gonna distance myself from everyone else and live in a little shed. And I'm gonna be super mysterious, and everyone's gonna be really excited for the cool fight scene between him and May, because he's super angsty on his own, and everyone's super guilty for some reason, but we don't know why.
Yeah, there's a big mystery going on of like, what did the Jedi do? Anyway, episode 4. Episode 4, it's basically we get back to the modern day, which is also 100 years before Phantom Menace, so not modern day. All of this is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, ladies and gentlemen.
Just add another long on there. It's fine. Long time ago.
Yeah. Anyway, May is feeling conflicted after seeing OSHA. She hangs out with the little freak Chimere again, and basically says, well, you're going to help me kill this Wookiee. You're going to basically be like the angel, or I guess the devil on my shoulder this whole trip. So they fly to the planet where Kelnaka is located. Yeah, and realizing...
Chimere has found him, so he's like going to track him down for her and stuff.
So basically... the Jedi realize, okay, there is somebody killing a bunch of Jedi. That's not good news. So what Soul and Yord and Jeki do, they call up like 12 other Jedi, basically, like a bunch of Jedi with no names. So we won't feel bad if they die.
One of you think might be Plo Koon. Turns out it's a female Plo Koon race.
Yeah. So they go to this planet, and Yord, sweet, innocent Yord, packs along, he's my favorite, he packs along a little freak by the name of Basil.
Yep. And Yord is, again, super comes in clutch, only one that understands his language, so he leads the charge. Yord, again, being the best character.
Yeah, and somehow has some of Kelnaka's scent. Just has a little bit of Wookiee fur of his. We don't have to talk about how he got it.
Everyone knows that when you become a Jedi Padawan, you cut off a lock of your hair or like a piece of your clothing, whatever you got, depending on what species you are, and you give it to the Jedi so that they can give it to a little freak to sniff you.
Okay, well, at least we know that now, because my headcanon used to be that you kind of kept it like a graduation braid, like a graduation thing, like a tassel on your hat.
It could have been the Padawan braid, the little rat
Yeah.
tail ugly thing that is the worst thing Star Wars has ever done, in my opinion.
Yeah, which by the way, I would pay to see Kelnaka with a little Jedi Padawan braid. Any Wookiee with a bad like rat tail. Which by the way, we already see Kelnaka, not a great hairstyle. He's got like a full shaved head and then a little bit of hair pulled back in a Wookiee man bun. Just really trying to make that work.
I mean, he does a good job. It's good.
Yeah, he's a good little Wookiee.
So
But
they
yeah,
make their way through the forest. There's like bugs and shit that are attracted to light that they figure out how to deal with that will be important later. Um, you know, and then eventually May's like, actually, I saw that Osha was alive. I've had like a whole day to think about it now, and now that I've thought about it, Chimera, I'm gonna lift you up by your ankle with a trap and leave you there to die, I guess.
yeah.
Because I'm gonna go turn myself into the Jedi. Because Osha being alive, I thought she was dead. She thought I was dead. Turns out, I'm not angry anymore because I don't care about my mother or anything. It was mostly my twin.
Yeah, I really just cared about my sister, and this feeling I'm having is going to be permanent. This feeling I have, it's going to stick
This
forever.
character shift, permanent.
Yeah,
It's like weird shifting character. I mean, we saw some like light side in her in like the first episode, but she has killed 2 Jedi at this point. So now it's like, okay, what kind of fight scene are we gonna see with her and Kalnaka?
yeah,
Turns out, none.
because as soon as she gets there, he's dead, and not long after,
With
the
a
little
lightsaber slash.
Jedi squad, yeah, with a lightsaber slash across his chest. We also see in his little, freak shack, uh, we got little markings of, I guess, the tattoos, like the little moon symbol that all of them have. We don't go into that at all. Maybe he's just guilty about what happened. Um, but who's to say? But what happens next is that the Jedi are just sort of waiting around looking for Kalnaka, realize he's dead, and Osha's looking onward when all of a sudden, like effing Dracula, the Sith Lord, the Sith Lord comes gliding down, floating, ooh,
Through the
and
trees.
yeah, from the trees like a little bat, and he just lands, and then Osha turns around, sees him. All the Jedi light their lightsabers up, and then right as they are about to attack, we see that this Sith Lord, just simply with 2 fingers, pushes Osha out of the way, which is very cool. Very cool use of the powers.
Yep.
And then big force push to end the episode.
Which is very abrupt, but I when it happened, when I saw that end of the episode, like the credits start rolling, I think I literally jumped up from my couch and went, "No, play more!" But then I had to wait a week.
I gotta be honest, when I first saw the Sith Lord, I was a little scared. I was a little freaked out the way he was floating down. Like, just so chill.
I mean, we'll get into a next episode, which, I mean, a lot happens, but also not a lot happens at the same time next episode.
Yeah.
This episode night, the counterpoint today, because now the sun went down and it's nighttime. But yeah, now it's basically this entire episode is one of the most epic fight scenes I've ever seen, except for like the very end. But like pretty much half an hour of a giant fight scene. And I think this is the episode that everyone agreed was awesome. Like everyone in general was like, this Acolyte sucks for no reason. I think it's good. Again, we think it's good. But this episode, I think people were like, okay, that was pretty sick, because the Sith fights like 12 of these Jedi at the same time and just starts cutting them down. Turns out he has a special helmet and like bracer that shorts out lightsabers for a short amount of time, which is dope. He looks cool. Like everything he does is like so fluid. He's got buff arms. You can see he's like got a sleeveless dress.
So ripped. And he's got a cape, and he's got a helmet. And when he is fighting with people, literally, because he has the helmet and the bracer, he headbutts a lightsaber.
Yeah.
My guy's out here just not even fearing death. And he stabs a Jedi, then force pulls another into the blade. He
Yep.
shish kebabs two Jedi, which,
Oh,
man, he's
that
so
was
good. It was nuts. Like you
amazing
see,
fight choreography. You see Yord is like injured on the ground, like trying to help but can't,
yeah,
or gets injured during this scene.
right. Something that I do like that's a detail that I think a lot of people have been sleeping on is when you see like the actual streaks of the force push, like because when Osha wakes up after seeing all this, there is that
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
little bit. I pointed this out to you. It looks like there's one big boom, and then there's almost 5 consecutive streaks pushing out, almost as if each finger is individually pushing with the force from that point on. And it's long streaks and it's pretty wide. And I thought to myself, is this guy so powerful with the force that he can will it individually with little digits of his fingers? And to that, I think maybe he's just that good, and he is definitely good because he eliminates
Kills.
everybody. This is one long fight scene.
This is the Red
Jackie,
Wedding. This is
oh my god, it's like the big like crescendo to everything before the final act, and we see Jackie is trying to arrest May, and
mhm.
it's it kind of an interesting fight, but really it's just Jackie trying to tackle May a bunch of times. And you see that when that doesn't work and the Sith eventually comes because the Sith is like, hey, May, you betrayed me, sister.
Yeah,
I thought we were all cool. I guess now that all these people have to die because you couldn't just follow what I told you to do, which is kill a Wookiee without a weapon.
yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually Soul gets in the fight. He was somewhere else for the first 2 minutes. Don't know what happened to him. He probably got knocked out for a bit.
Yeah,
Whatever.
he was
Not
thrown
it's
away.
not super important. But eventually, he OSHA's like a civilian at this point. So at one point, he's like, I'm gonna start fighting him by myself. All the other Jedi are dead besides our main characters. Um, and then he goes, Yord, you're injured, and you need to take the civilian back to the ship. And Yord goes, yes, sir, because that is honestly the smart move. And they should have just stuck with that. And
Yeah,
again, Yord does the right thing until someone else decides to do something else. Um,
yes, but we see
it's
that
really cool
Jackie
flipping back
is.
and forth. Jackie
Oh
with her
yeah,
green lightsaber fighting May, Yord with his yellow lightsaber lighting the way, and the blue lightsaber of Soul, like kind of fighting the stranger.
yeah,
Which this is gonna be my hottest take, and I've said this to you. Stranger design is not as iconic as Darth Vader. It's not. It never will be. It is cooler than Darth Vader, though.
here's the thing. We're hitting some hard ground here, and we're hitting some hard truths. In today's climate, yes, it's cooler than Darth Vader. It's not more iconic.
It will never be.
It never will be. It is so cool.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
mean,
It's every D&D character, every like it's what everyone wants their character to look like in an MMO, basically.
yeah, and he like has such like cool. The helmet is cool. The bracer's cool. Like the
It's got
Cortosis,
like the teeth for
like it
no
has like teeth.
reason.
It's scary. Like the eye slits are very thin. And later in the episode, I think we're about to get to this point. He's able to split his lightsaber, so he has a second shorter one, like Ahsoka.
Yeah. And it's great because when first off, it starts off like, okay, maybe the heroes got this. Maybe they can kind of figure things out.
Yeah, Soul's a
Because
badass while
Jackie,
fighting him. Yeah,
yeah, Jackie's fighting for her life. She gets Kelnaka's lightsaber too. She's dual wielding. And it's sort of like it's almost like dramatic irony watching this, and you're watching Soul try his best too, because you know for a fact the Jedi have not seen a Sith in over a millennium.
yeah,
So you know that this is conflicting with Phantom Menace. But you think, well, maybe somehow they'll live. But you realize, unless they want to destroy the canon, these people cannot survive.
yeah.
So eventually, Jackie beats the helmet off this guy, like with the handle of her lightsaber.
Because she knows she can't use the blade because it'll
Yeah.
short out.
So she's just basically rocking this guy in the face.
He
And
pulls
then
out the second saber and just 3 like flickers of the lightsaber, kills Jackie. Soul screams because he's attached to his Padawans, which is established earlier. Even though Jackie's like, you shouldn't be attached, he's like, but I am. I'm just remembering the past. Whatever. Kills Jackie, kills the little Padawan, little Daphne Keene, is dead, and from behind her body is revealed the face of the stranger, which, surprising no one, but still a cool reveal, is Chimera.
yes,
Like,
yeah,
no
that
one was
one,
shocked by that, but it still was cool.
it was good. And again, to talk about little freaks and the things that they can do to deceive you, we got a sort of Yoda situation going on here, because you and me, we watched Empire recently,
Yeah.
and you realize just how much of a little freak Yoda is. He's
Yeah, he
right.
goes fucking batshit. Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I think masters, wherever they come from, dark side, light side, they love being a little weird before they get down to brass tacks. You know what I
In
mean?
Palpatine's case, he's like weirdly too normal and then gets weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dooku's probably the most normal.
Right. He never officially had a
No, he never got Sith eyes or anything.
yeah. So we learned that Chimera is the Sith, and man, this guy's hot. I gotta be honest with you,
Dude.
AJ. This guy's got it fucking going on. He is ripped.
mean,
He's got that slick
yeah.
ass hair.
No, he's
And
dope. He looks amazing, and in probably a career redefining moment,
yeah,
like really takes on this Sith.
yeah, Manny
Um,
Jacinto.
He's the guy, the stupid guy from The Good Place. You watch him and
Yeah.
you're like, but that man's got range.
Oh yeah. No,
And apparently
I
he
love
like
this guy.
trained for months to do all the fight choreography
Oh
himself
yeah.
because he
Which-
wanted to. Maybe not all of it, but he did a lot of it.
But good on him, because I've never been scared, impressed, and turned on all at once. Like when he kills Jackie and Soul's like, she was a child. Dude, he just shrugs and said, you brought her here. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's a cold ass line, man.
Yeah, that man does not care about anyone's life at
Dude,
all.
he just wants to further his power. Like this is the truest. I think this is, I don't want to say this is the truest Sith we've seen on screen, but this has like, dude, his Sith tendencies here, the writing and the performance was spot on,
Yeah.
because it's so apathetic. It's not necessarily caring about anything else. He's calling like the Jedi it. Like he's saying like, you killed Jackie. It's like, was that its name?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I thought it was like this guy's cold
It's
blooded.
weird. I thought apathy was the Jedi's thing, but it's like also super scary on a Sith. Like he is, and he has like a super like understand, like the way that he talks about being a Sith frames it in a way where like this guy believes everything he's saying, and from a certain point of view it makes sense. From if you look at it from another point of view, you're like, all right, you're a murderer, like a serial killer basically. But the way he's like, I just want to be who I am and do whatever I want and have the power that I want, which from his point of view it's like, yeah, he just wants to do his shit, he just wants to live his life, doesn't want the Jedi like crouched on that. But then you look at it and you're like, okay, what he wants to do is kill people, and that should be stopped. But from his point of view, it's like he doesn't care about the life, so why should other people care about the life? We're all specks in the universe. You make one wrong turn going into hyperspace, you're dead anyway.
Yeah. So from a certain point of view, it's almost like, you know, Chimera is like states' rights, and then the Jedi is sort of like big government coming in, like, hey man, what are you doing trying to regulate my force here?
I do not think we need any more political talk in 2024. Thank you very much.
Star Wars has plenty of politics, but we will move on. But I think the way he says it, I agree. It's very accessible, and it's stated like a true believer, and he's super strong with it. And then Osha comes in and uses the lights, the light bugs.
Soul, they fight.
They fight, and it's a good fight.
Yeah, Yord and Osha come back because
Oh, yeah.
Osha's like, we have to go back, and Yord's like, we shouldn't. but I also have some compassion for like Soul and stuff, and I don't want him to die either. So fine, we'll go back. Yord comes back. He comes back swinging. He's injured already.
Oh yeah.
He's injured, but he picks up the helmet that's on the ground, knowing that it can short out lightsabers, and uses it to swing at him to stop the bad guy's lightsaber, to stop Manny Jacinto's lightsaber, which is a dope ass move.
Oh yeah.
They fight, but he's injured, and eventually he gets the upper hand. And in the saddest moment in the series, my least favorite moment of the entire show, he snaps Yord's neck unceremoniously. I was actually like legitimately upset about that. I was playing it up for the bit. I don't know if you could tell, because I'm an actor, but I was legitimately sad in that moment. I was like, I knew they were gonna do it. I knew Yord was probably gonna die in the series when he was introduced. I didn't want them to though, and I was like, damn. I was like, Jackie, she's supposed to be the one that you care about, I guess. I think that's the way they framed it. It's just like her and Osha had a weird moment. I was like, that sucks. She is a child. That does suck. And I'm sad. But when Yord died, I felt it. And I went, no. And so Soul, using his anger, using his emotions, pretty much easily gets the upper hand on this guy. And is about to kill him when Osha's like, hey, Jedi don't kill. Which Osha, shut up.
Yeah, like you're not even a Jedi. What do you care?
Like, you're right, but also
this guy killed like 12 people.
He just killed, and again, her and Yord were like friends as younglings, like
yeah.
And she clearly has like some sort of attachment to him. Like it's obviously not romantic anyway, but like,
yeah,
it's like he just killed, and she also had a weird connection with Jackie. He just killed two of your best friends, probably your two best friends in the whole galaxy. And you're like, hey, Soul, don't kill him because that would be wrong. And
Soul it's goes, like, why are we all about control right now? Like
he goes, and Soul goes, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't. And we're like for the story reason, obviously I don't want the stranger to die. He's super dope. Kymir's awesome. It would really suck if he got killed in his first combat for story reasons. In universe reasons,
should have killed him.
Just slice his head off. He
was too dangerous to be kept alive.
Like that, cut it off at the head. That is what you absolutely should do in that moment. He just killed, like, I don't know. We were kind of spouting random numbers of how many Jedi came. It was at least like 11 people.
Yeah, not counting the people he's sort of aided in the murder of.
Yeah.
And he killed Kelnaka directly. So yeah, this guy is on the record of serial killer with the amount of people that he's killed. So he is insane. But he gets dragged away by light bugs. And Soul basically says that, Osha, I need to tell you everything now that everything is super crazy and I don't know what's going on. And then he gets stunned by May, and this is where we get Osha and May spending time together. I'm sorry, I hate to say it. This actor does not have chemistry with herself. I know that's a crazy thing to say, but
that is not her fault.
It is.
She can't act with herself. They have to film it, but yeah, no, that was the light bug thing. She sacrifices. Osha has this cute little droid because you need you always need the main character to have a cute little droid. You got BD1 for Jedi video games. You got R2. You got BB8. You got a little pip droid. Sacrifices him. Puts the light on. Gets flown up by the bugs. May comes out of the shadows and goes pew and stuns Soul. I guess probably could have set it to kill if she really wanted to, but I guess she doesn't want to anymore. And then she's like, Osha, it's like that one, have you ever had a friend who's really obsessed that you guys are best friends, but you're like, yeah, we're really good friends. We're really good friends. And I really like you as a person, but that friend is like, no, we are best friends. And that's May. May is like, we're twins and we belong to be together forever. And Osha, again, is like, hey, I'm glad you're alive. Don't be killing people. You still set that fire. I still blame you for all that stuff.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Like, you are a murderer, and May's like, but we're sisters and we're back together and it's super awesome, and Osha's like, fuck off. And then
Yeah,
eventually May says, fuck it, knocks out her sister.
yeah, pushes her off a semi-tall tree branch. It's
I
very
don't
unclear,
remember.
but I think she like hurts herself, and then what May does is she gives herself a haircut with a lightsaber.
With Yord's lightsaber, oh, that beautiful yellow glow. I miss him. And she like perfectly just like angles her head so she gets the perfect braid bowl cut. Like, somehow it looks exactly like Osha's from just like a done.
Yeah,
No like trimming, nothing like that. One of the less believable parts of the show,
who are we to
um,
judge?
but hey, at least they didn't do the thing where they stab someone with a lightsaber and let them live.
Yep, they finally committed. It took 3 stabs, but they did it. Yeah, so after this, we get a role reversal. Ooh, May is dressed like Osha and then takes Soul back to the ship, but Kymir survives the bugs because they're fucking bugs.
Well, let's be honest. If he had been killed by the bugs, that would have been the worst ending to that
I
fight.
would
It
have,
was a cool
if that's how it ended,
creative
I would have
solution.
laughed.
It was a cool creative solution, but if they had killed him, everyone would have been like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, but
Died
then
the bugs?
he basically like force heals her, Osha, and then just decides, well, I'm gonna take you to my little island,
Yeah,
my little island planet, and that is what brings us into episode 6, Teach slash Corrupt. Nothing happens. I literally have in my notes nothing, not even the full word
yeah.
nothing.
It is pretty much like the hey, we're gonna set up the ending, as much as we can. So it's like again, Kymir takes Osha to his planet, which kind of looks like the planet from The Last Jedi
Yeah,
that Luke is on.
we talked about that. It kind
They
of just has
they
like the
never say
rock.
the name of this planet, so it could be there
Yeah,
is like dark force energy on that planet, so that could be where that comes from. It's
yeah.
possible, not
But
confirmed.
yeah, Osha spends some time watching Kymir bathe, and
He's got some scars on his back from what might be a lightsaber whip.
because of the curve. Um, but yeah, Kymir is basically just like, hey, I know I'm kind of hot. Let me tell you about the dark side and why it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
it's pretty cool. My helmet actually can't see out of it. It's pretty cool. Dark side's cool. I'm cool. I killed all your friends. But you think I'm sexy, don't you?
right. Which, by the way, not sexy, not hot. In that sense of like, why are you into this guy outside of him just being physically appealing?
Like, yeah, like he's a little greasy, let's be honest.
He could use a comb. He could use a comb.
It's a little Snape like.
Yeah.
But like in general, she does like try to kill him, but Jedi don't kill, and she's still
No.
under that mantra and doesn't do it. But she just decides to kind of let him play with her, puts on the
Yeah.
helmet at the end of the episode. Now this is happening. May and Soul eventually figures out that it's May, not Osha. Whatever, and eventually
Yeah.
like captures her. That's the whole thing.
Right.
Um,
And so it's like, let me tell you what really happened.
and then when they pick back up, they don't finish that conversation. They change. They have a different conversation instead.
Yeah. I feel like there were different writers for different episodes, and they
Is
just kind of got the spark notes.
which, to be fair, they put in another episode in between. They were hoping we would forget about that, because that is how they end the episode. So, I mean, it's cool. There's a lot of discussion about
Yeah.
the thing. They say the word cortosis. Kymir is still like, I want to have an acolyte, because for some reason he's not allowed to say apprentice because acolyte's the name of the show, not apprentice.
Right.
So
Which
he's always like,
does,
I want an acolyte.
yeah, that part kind of led into a theory that I talked to you about. I was like, I don't think this guy is top tier. I think he's middle management, which would probably help my theory overall, because he is a Sith. He's a Sith Lord. However, it still feels like he's answering to someone else. Like he doesn't have fulls. He's not shooting lightning, and I consider that to be like the full like I'm top dog of the Sith. You
Yeah,
know?
you can't they never confirmed that. If they do a season 2, which I mean, I would enjoy season 2. I think I don't know that it's needed, but I would
Yeah.
like it to happen. But
Well,
based on the
we'll
fact that
talk about
everyone else
that.
hates it, maybe they won't make it at all. Maybe they'll just give up on that.
Yeah.
But it would suck to miss out on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think it would benefit from a second season, but I think they made some choices where they didn't have any other options. But yeah, we end up where it's kind of like, ooh, maybe OSHA is kind of leaning more towards the dark side, and May is definitely still not for the light side at all. She definitely wants to kill Soul. Um, so we move on to episode 7, Choice, which is basically just the same episode as number 3, but now it's from the Jedi perspective.
So it's
And
the
what are the
flashback.
Jedi? Yeah. And what are the Jedi doing on Brendok? They're looking for something called a vergence in the Force. And what that is basically like a rift between the Force dimension and the normal
Well,
world.
they couldn't say convergence because that would just be a real word.
Right. They had to say vergence because it's split, like our two protagonists.
So basically, yeah, you get to see the 4 Jedi on Brendok. They're like, there's no life except for trees and shit and animals. Where did they come from? Because they weren't here a little bit ago. And then like Torben, little Padawan dude, and you kind of said in like our talks before this, like he's a kind of a little shit. He is because he's like, I want to go home. This is boring. We've been here for weeks and found nothing. Can we please go home? I miss my home, all that stuff. And you're like, yeah, it's kind of shitty. Overall, this course of the episode, I would argue he is no more angsty than Anakin is
No,
at all.
definitely not.
Like I would say Anakin is even more angsty. So it's like not even he's like a little bit of a little brat, but like he's a teenager. It makes sense. He just doesn't. Everyone just kind of is like, he's a little brat because he doesn't have the power that Anakin does to back it up.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's a good Jedi, but he's not like the chosen one.
Yeah, he's still a Padawan, and not like the most impressive of them. Like he's still impressive. I think he still does. It's pretty cool in the fight scenes that he has. But like, yeah. So he kind of like, I want to go home. Soul again. We see Soul from another perspective, creeping up on the little girls, being like,
yeah, he catches May and Osha, and it's like, what is going on? I gotta tell everybody fast. And Dara's just like, whoa, slow down. We should probably not invade their personal space, and we should probably just report this to the council. And he's like, there's no time. And this is where we start to learn maybe Soul is misguided in some ways.
Rash. I mean, he is. I will say that he is definitely the best fighter out of these 4.
Yes.
But that's kind of his thing. And like Andara has a couple lines that kind of like playfully jab at him and like, well, you don't have a Padawan because you're not as wise as me, which is correct. It's a little bit mean, but it's also correct.
Well, he has a blue lightsaber. He doesn't have a green lightsaber.
Yeah, which
consulars are more of the thinkers.
Yeah, they're the more wise Jedi, and he's more like the fighty Jedi. Which is a cool detail. But he's like, well, there's doing a ceremony. I heard them say ceremony. The big mean mom came out and yelled at them, and I don't like that because I like gentle raising my children.
I like the helicopter
gentle parenting. So yeah, they go in. And they're like, all right. And Andor's like, fine, we'll go talk to them. Turns out he was creeping on them even more, looking at them, whatever. They break into their mind thing. And the Jedi, basically, we saw in episode 3, they interrupt. She mind controls Torben. We get to see it from Torben's perspective, where he's like, I want to go home again. And the witch is like, I can help you go home. Just get the fuck out of my home. And that's why he kind of gets like possessed a little bit. And then they're like, let's do OSHA. You can see all the same things. There's nothing super new. You can see a couple extra conversations. Then,
Charlie Hopkinson, who does those great deep fakes of Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Anakin, did a great joke about, could you imagine just shooting something from a different angle? And then just continually kept using the same audio, but just again, it's the same line. Could you imagine shooting something just from a different angle and replaying it?
And then Obi-Wan is like, well, it would be a different point of view, and I'm all about different point of views.
Oh, yes. But basically it's just repeat, but you learn that Master Indara, who is Trinity is playing her, is definitely saying, hey, maybe we should back off a little bit. We shouldn't try to impose because we don't know what's going on here. Granted, these are freaky witches, but it's not a crime to be a little freak, or else Master Yoda would never be accepted into the Jedi Order.
Which they confirmed Master Yoda does not make an appearance in the show.
Yes. But basically they go through the tests again, and we learn that when they get back after the tests, Osha goes to pack her things, and May is basically by her Zabrak mom, just jacked up on Mountain Dew, just really gets them angry, destroys
she
the
literally
doors.
says, get angry or get mad, and it's like, the hell?
Yeah.
And she basically like sets her daughter on her other daughter and says, go attack my other daughter to get her to not leave. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And so, like, that's the kind I was
Also,
talking about. Like, it might be a little bit of mental manipulation.
yeah.
There.
Even though it doesn't seem like she's super much a wizard, even though she definitely is. Oh, also, apparently they do like the blood test. They do the M count. They don't say midichlorians, but they do an M count on the girls. Apparently, they have the exact same DNA. The exact same. So it's not like they're twins. It's almost like they're the same. Oh, what's that? Another plot point is coming along? We'll talk about it later, even though we just spelled it out.
Yeah, Torben does the little blood test, and he's like, even identical twins they have the same DNA, but they have different of the other metachlorian type like thing, but theirs is the exact same. Their matrix is the same, and that's weird. And they're like, maybe there is a vergence. Sure, whatever. Don't know why we care a bunch about the vergence.
Yeah, I don't know, but
why do they care so much? I don't know.
Torben ends up freaking out and saying, like, wait, if that means there is a vergence, that means if we get the girls, we can get the council here. And that means I can go back to Coruscant. I can go back home. And
Which,
he
again,
gets on a speeder.
Is a stupid decision. Not anything worse than Anakin does. It's not his fault. He's like 16.
Yeah, he's got a horrible perm mullet. Just nasty shit.
It's definitely a Star-Lord and Infinity War decision of fuck you, Thanos. Like, it's not smart, but it is in character, and it does make sense.
It is consistent, unfortunately. But he goes there, and Sol tries to stop him. But then, as soon as he has a feeling that Osha is in trouble, he says, well, we're going to have to climb and break in for sure. During this time, we learn that May definitely caused the fire, but she felt bad about it, tried to stomp it out, but then it didn't work in her favor.
She ran away and basically said, Mom, I'm going to kill my twin. I'm going to kill Osha accidentally. It's not my fault. I'm sorry. Please help. And that's when Torben and Sol followed Torben and basically they were like, you know what? We're going to fucking do this, both of us. The other two Jedi are like, hey, please don't. Because they're the counselors, they both have green lightsabers, and the yellow lightsaber Torben and blue lightsaber Sol are like, we need to go in. We need to do this. So they both go together and they confront them, and basically they're like, what are you fucking doing? We need to take the daughters. And then the other daughter comes up and says, I started a fire, and they go, oh shit, and then they start fighting. Sol, in a moment of panic, thinking that as the good mom starts to like turn into smoke, makes
and
a rash decision.
May also begins to turn into smoke as she turns into smoke. By the way, we never learn what this is, but continue. What does Sol do?
I'm guessing it's some sort of teleport or whatever to like get them to safety. Sol stabs the mom, and that's where we find out that's the bad thing that the Jedi did, is that Sol killed their mother, which is rough. I do appreciate that it makes sense with the narrative why he would do it, but it was still a stupid decision. So I don't know why he can kill the mom, but not Chimera, but whatever.
Right. That one was, I think this is the big point that I think we need to talk about with the Acolyte. It was the wrong decision. However, if you see a woman disintegrating, and then at that same time, the child is disintegrating as well, I would think oh, she's doing something to like sacrifice the child, because May
Yeah,
did tell them like,
yeah.
well, there's some kind of sacrifice going on. If we are going to give Torben the benefit of a doubt with the Anakin defense, Anakin would definitely murk that fucking mom.
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely.
dude, I even have a feeling that maybe Obi-Wan, like if he doesn't get enough sleep, would make that
Yeah,
call. But
like, but it's still the wrong. It's still the wrong call. And as the mom dies, she goes again. Lightsaber wound that actually follows through. Great.
yep.
As the mom dies, she goes, "I was going to let Osha go with you," and that's when Sol goes, "Ah, shit! I shouldn't have stabbed her, huh?"
That was
Yeah.
unfortunate. So
And then
then all the
Mean Mom starts
witches,
speaking in their minds and says, "You shouldn't have brought him here. His mind is too weak." And Torben goes, "You know what? I actually learned from my last mistakes. I've shielded my mind. I've protected myself." Which, you know what? Good on
good
him.
on him.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure that was having your mind invaded in that. I'm sure he was like super stressed about that. So he does like,
Oh yeah.
I'm like, good Jedi move. And then it's like, not him. And it turns out the Wookiee comes out of nowhere with the black eyes and just with his green lightsaber drawn and starts fucking messing them up. So at least we
Oh,
get to see the
dude.
Wookiee fight. We
It
get to see a
reminds
Wookiee fight.
me that fight. We did get a Wookiee fight. It reminded me of that meme where you see the Elder Scrolls Online thing, where it's the knight versus like the three guys, and he's just like swinging that thing around like a claymore. This, by the way, nothing scarier than a Wookiee with the Force high jumping and then coming down to land on you. And I just thought to myself in that moment, oh, that's how he lost the eye. It's
Yep.
just a Wookiee just scratching the hell out of him. And he's like
Yeah.
throwing Soul around. He's
He's like
throwing
force pushing him
Corbin.
too, so it's not just like the Wookiee strength. It's like the Wookiee strength plus the Jedi strength, which is a
Yeah,
terrifying combination.
I will say a little vague on how the eye actually got
A
scratched.
little bit, but it seems
I
like I think it
imagine,
happened when he pinned him against the wall.
yeah, I think it's when he like put his Wookiee little freak monkey
Claws.
hands up on him.
I was expecting
Uh,
to see a lightsaber slash.
yeah, I was expecting a lightsaber slash is definitely how it looked in
Yeah.
like some of the earlier stuff. But
Torben
we
defends
see
himself really well, barely manages to stop the blade from slicing through
oh,
him.
Torben, to be fair,
He's a good fighter.
very talented Jedi when he's deflecting those witch
That was
bolts.
awesome.
I thought
That
to
was
myself,
sick.
wow, good on him. Master Indara really freaking showed this kid what's up.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do a great job defending against a giant ass Wookiee. We learned that not only is Zabrak Witch Mom sort of going into the mind of Kalnaka, but apparently it takes the whole witch coven in like a weird like sort of avatar circle
Yeah, the
to
Witch
take his
Coven.
mind.
One of the other weaker parts of the show is the Witch Coven's chants are so cheesy.
Yeah, they're a
Like
little weird.
they don't sound like they sound like they don't believe what they say because they have like the power of one, the power of two, the power of many, and it's like that priest at a Catholic church that is like the body and blood of Christ, and
Yeah,
they sound
forever
like they
and
don't.
ever.
It sounds. I think the lines necessarily aren't bad, but the delivery
Yeah,
was not good of those chants.
yeah.
Being honest,
Well, also, way to show that you're not the good guys. Because I'm sorry, the cult behavior, like,
no,
I'm sorry, that is some scary stuff. Like, you guys are in dark ass robes. You're like howling at the moon and like
your eyes are
pulling
black.
threads. Yeah. And thankfully, with that whole black eye situation, Master Indara comes in and forces the demons out, pulls an exorcism on
Yeah,
Kelnaka.
and it turns out that kills all the witches
Yeah,
or
that's
just
a
knocks them
little,
out to be consumed by the fire.
I guess.
You don't see Mean Mom
Right. You don't see Mean Mom, which we
on the
don't
ground.
remember her name, but she has one.
She has one. I don't really care. Mother Anastasia is the nice one. I'll say Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa is the mean
No.
mom. Um,
You
Mother
know what? Mother
Teresa.
Teresa. Yeah.
So, like, she might have died. We don't know if they did a season 2. They could bring
Yeah.
her back and it be believable if they wanted to. I don't know if they would. She might just be dead. confirms nothing. But yeah, so they all get like the fire has just fucking spread. Eventually, Osha breaks out, like we saw in the last episode, and we saw her and May meet on like two little like walks that are like one of those catwalks that's like split in the middle. And they see each other
Yeah.
and they're like, "Let's get out." We just saw in this last episode. We saw in the last episode, the last flashback, May falls. And this one, we see it from Soul. It turns out Soul was holding both of them up with the Force, and realizing he can't hold them both up, decides to sacrifice May for Osha, which
Yeah.
is, again, not a good move, but
But
the move that everyone else would have made too.
yeah, again, I'm just saying it sucks that he had to choose, but I feel like you would have had two dead kids if you didn't
Well,
choose one.
apparently May didn't die from the fall, so maybe they would have survived, but he didn't know that.
Right.
He didn't know that.
It was actually a 10-foot fall. So it actually wasn't too bad.
They only took 1d6 damage, yeah.
Yeah, they only took 1d6. They had a sprained ankle, but everything turned out fine. But Soul didn't know that.
So I didn't know that.
He chose to save the one that he decided he liked.
The one that like he gave lightsaber to, and the one that said that she wanted to be a Jedi, which yeah, makes sense.
You gotta hedge your bets. It's harder and harder. Kids.
Look, we've all had the life of two children in our hands before. One of them a little angry shit, and the other one that kind of is like a kiss ass a little bit. And we've all chosen to kill the little shit one. That we've all done it.
Yeah,
We've
and
all
let's
been
be
there.
honest, the kid donation bin at the Jedi Temple has been pretty low lately, so they really got to pick up on that quota.
Oh god, kid donation bin. That sounds like a sperm donation center. Oh.
No, it's worse actually because parents give up their children.
Yeah, it's somehow worse.
It is weird. I was watching Tales of the Jedi, and they're showing like Ahsoka like growing up with like her parents who love her very much. It's like, why would you give her if you guys loved her so much?
I mean, yeah, again, like the point of this show and the point of a lot of shows that like, and I will say they've kind of belabored this point in my mind a little bit, is that the Jedi are not necessarily a good organization, because think about that. You have a galaxy with a group of paladins that says they're the only ones allowed to practice their magic. No, you can't have wizards, you can't have clerics, you can't have sorcerers, warlocks. All of them should die. We should kill all of them because only the paladins should exist, because we are the good type of magic. And they go around the galaxy saying, hey, your 3-year-old would make a really good paladin, so we're going to take her against your will. That's
with your permission, of course. You know,
that's the villain of any D&D campaign.
Yeah,
that's the bad guy. They're not
hard sell.
Great.
Hard sell.
They're not great, but again, I'm kind of like, you know what? Can we just have the Jedi be good? Can we just let them be good? But like, they're not wrong. It's a good point. It makes sense. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, but I know you really like your all good Jedi, but I was at least like, okay, so these guys messed up, and at the end of this, they all decide it's like, well, we're gonna live a lie. We're just gonna put this all on May and all on the witches, and we did nothing wrong.
To be fair, Soul is like, I will face the Jedi Council. I will own up to my crimes, which I'm like, again, he realizes the error of his ways. Later, he kind of backtracks that a little bit, which is a little funky. But but he does say, like, this is my fault. I will own up. And Dara, who's been the moral compass of the group so far, says, in my opinion, if you do that, Osha will not be accepted by the Jedi. She'll be shunned, and she will not have the life that you wanted for her, and she will just be abandoned. Which is, again, not a bad point. It says, if we tell the truth, Osha's life is ruined. You have the chance, because you wanted her to be your apprentice. You have the chance to make her life better. So maybe this is the one time we should lie.
Yeah.
It's maybe not the right call, but it is a call from a certain point of view.
It's a very gray Jedi move. It's something a gambling Qui-Gon Jinn might try to bring to the sabacc table.
Oh, yeah. Qui-Gon Jinn would absolutely do this.
Dude, Qui-Gon would lie his ass off for his buddies.
He lied his ass off to get Anakin.
Dude,
as a little kid, out of the hands of his mother.
Yeah.
And also, again, another instance of the mom being super cool with that. Which I guess she was like, yeah, he gets to be out of slavery. He doesn't have to face his life anymore.
Yeah.
But even if me and my mom were a slave, I think my mom would be like, I don't want you to leave
I
me
would,
here.
yeah. Although
Please don't.
he did promise that one day I'll come back and free you.
And I'll
Didn't
hold you in my
happen.
arms while you bleed out.
Yeah, that's what my dream told me, that I would maybe kind of sort of see you again. Anyway, bye.
I
Yippee!
had a bunch of time to come back before. Could have
Yeah.
called,
I was getting cut and learning how to steam my robes.
could have sent like one of those holo projector things to his mom and like called her every so often. But
Did not.
attachment's bad for the Jedi.
Yep,
But
attachment's bad.
he gets married later, so it's
Yeah,
whatever.
he's already a hypocrite. It's fine. He got laid. Episode 8.
Hey, Jedi can get laid, but that's confirmed.
Yes. So, quick tangent. So, celibacy is not the rule. You just can't be attached.
You can't get married. There's I think it might be Mundi.
He has like 50 wives.
Yeah, is because he's like being a male of his race is like rare, so they're like, I guess you gotta promote your seed everywhere. Also, we forgot to mention the Mundi cameo, which everyone for some reason was like up in arms about. I thought it was a cool cameo.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I didn't care about Mundi before. Don't even care now.
Yeah, it was fine. I thought it was fine. Okay, they extended that species life expectancy. Yep. Sure.
Whatevs. Who cares?
He was always a little shit anyway, so who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that happens. Yeah, that's
episode 8.
The Acolyte.
The Acolyte. The Acolyte. The electrolytes.
So let's before we discuss it, do you think it stuck the landing?
Well, no. My gut feeling is no. I feel like it got to where we expected it to be. However, I feel like it didn't win the gold. I think it's struggling with a bronze or silver.
Yeah. Like, is it bad? I don't think so. I don't think it's bad. I think based on the story that they wanted to tell, I think it is exactly the story they wanted to tell.
Yeah.
Is it the best? No. Did I hate it? No, I didn't walk out being unhappy about it. I walked out being like, okay,
yeah,
the rest of the show was better.
Yeah. Just didn't stick the landing, which, you know what? Fair enough. It's a mini series.
I mean, it was the same thing with Mandalorian season 3. Was it cool to see all the Mandalorians flying and stuff and attacking those things? Yeah. Was it a good ending of season 3? No. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're with that in mind. Yeah. We'll talk about the final episode. So we get all the answers in this episode. So we start off, Soul's like, and that's what happened, or I guess not really. And May tases him, escapes, and they go on a big spaceship chase through, I guess, like a couple of debris fields, which is very beautiful, very nice. The visuals are very good.
Amazing visual effects, yeah.
For a Disney Plus television show, really impressive.
I would say the visual effects on the show are awesome.
Yeah, no, the visual
seeing the multicolored lightsabers in the night episode in the dark was super cool. Looked awesome.
Yes, very good. But then we anyway, they go through a chase, and May lands on Brendok because she believes she's going to find the answers there. But now what we see is that Soul calls into the Jedi Council. We've seen the council a couple of times.
I forgot to mention the little freak.
Oh, yeah.
So the little freak survives. We saw that in the earlier episodes. The little freak, the little sniffing out Kalnaka freak. He survives. He retrieves the pip droid. In that episode where we said nothing happened, he sneaks aboard the ship, and he comes on and he gives the pip droid back to May, who now has it, who wipes its memory. Kind of sad. But now she carries him around. And then he actually, in the thing where May's flying away, she gives like escape pod. She escapes at the beginning of this episode from the restraints that They have again, we talked about the conversation that they had, which was like basically like, I did what I did because I had to, Soul says, and May says, no you didn't, you killed my mom and that was rude. And then she breaks out and tasers him and then leaves, and then the whole thing fights, and then it looks like Soul's like locking on to her. I don't think he was
Yeah.
gonna fire on her. I think he was gonna try to like, magnetize her back in or something.
Yeah, I thought it was a tracking beam, but then Basil like turns his power off or
Yeah,
something.
Basil like rips out some of the wires to stop him. I don't know why. I don't know why Basil does that.
Yeah, some of the motivations get muddled, I think, in this episode, even with a little freak like Basil.
Yeah.
But yeah, we learned that Vernestra, who we haven't really talked about since episode 1, has also been investigating. They found the bodies of the dead Jedi, and she's running around with this. I think he's very hilarious. This British Jedi. And hey, so I was just wondering, Master Vernestra, is there a possibility?
Vernestra, I'm just another British bumbling idiot Jedi, but I'm thin this time and have buck teeth.
And I apologize for commenting on the appearance of all these actors. I seem like lovely people.
Yeah.
It's not unattractive, but
no, I think he's a very handsome guy, but I just think he's just like a sweet little guy. He's like Master Vernestra, like he's basically her secretary. Is what that is.
Yeah,
and he's having
one of the early episodes, we saw her use the light whip in front of him, and he goes, "Whoa, that's not a Jedi's weapon." Type. He kind of has a weird reaction to it.
Right.
But
so
yeah, go continue.
They have that, and she's like, "Okay, so they have a signal on Brendock. We're gonna bring a bunch of Jedi and figure out what happened." And before this, she is encountered by, I guess, one of the members of the Senate. And this is where we get the plot point for the first time in the show that the Jedi are getting investigated by the Republic.
I do think they like mentioned it once before, but they did not make it seem important. They didn't flesh it out at all. There was a scene that Mundi appeared in with Vernestra. Vernestra, they just didn't flesh her out at all. And for most people watching, they didn't read the books and don't know what her character is about. And people that did read the books think her character is different. Yeah, so basically she goes and and the little sniveling guy is like, yeah, I let the senator into the room, and she goes, you let him into the room, and his reaction is just so funny because he goes, he just goes, fuck, I shouldn't, and it's just like you get the expression that he's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I did make a mistake. Oh, my superior's yelling at me. Uh-oh.
He's like, no, I don't feel good. But we do see that. And apparently one of the senators, I don't remember his name.
Martian Manhunter.
Yeah. Senator John Jones of the Galactic Republic basically has a face-off with Vernestra saying, I don't trust you, Jedi, saying that you can, control the Force by your will, and that you're
like, well, we don't control the Force. It's like, I actually meant control your emotions. Y'all need therapy, and we really need to talk about that.
Yeah, we need to talk about emotional responsibility and emotional learning with all of you guys. And you're hiding that people are getting murdered. We don't like that. You're a bunch of jackboot thugs. You're out of control.
We need some SEL in the program.
Yeah, hand in your badge and your gun.
So this is like, fuck you.
I know. She's just like, fuck the government. I don't need you guys.
I'm like, I don't need you guys. I got a purple light whip.
Yeah, the first of its kind. So then we move to the Last Jedi planet. And we see that Osha is like having an asthma attack inside the thing.
This is Brent. Oh no, sorry, you're right. That's not what you're talking about.
So Osha is having an asthma attack inside of the
helmet.
Yeah, the helmet made of the special metal. And we see that she is realizing that she sees a vision of May killing Soul on a planet, and basically Chimera is just like, well, I'm gonna go with you because I'm gonna kill her. And it's like, well, I need your ship. And it's like, and you can't get there without my ship, so I guess we'll go together.
And we kind of have a vibe, right? We kind of have like a little bit of a vibe
Yeah.
to us.
Would you like to space opera and chill
Would you like
sometime?
to hold hands at the end of this episode? Spoilers.
Yeah. So they go on their way, but not before we see in the shadows a little freak hand. We see a little Star Wars freak, the first of its kind. We see a wise hand, a Darth hand, a Darth Plagueis the wise
wise hand.
hand.
I just imagine like if he wasn't like whatever species of alien he was, if he was like a human, his face would just be like
Yeah, just
just like
what's going on?
ooh, what do I see here?
Yeah,
That's his
and
voice too.
literally,
He doesn't
if
speak,
you're
but that's his voice.
yeah, but if you're a casual Star Wars fan, how
Yeah.
the fuck would you know who that guy is?
If you've only seen like the movies, and even if you've seen all the Disney TV shows, you've heard his name mentioned once, and you don't know what he looks like. You don't know who this guy is. He's
Yeah.
just a weird little dude in the shadows with red eyes.
And he's got Sith eyes. He's a freak
Yeah,
with
yellow
Sith
eyes, yeah.
eyes, and he's wearing a Sith robe, and he looks so gross. His hands are so gross. his hands are disgusting.
So that is 3 seconds long, and that is all we see of him.
Yeah, and that is one of the most talked about parts of the episode.
Which they wrote that knowing that would get attention.
Yeah, they kind of they had an idea.
So you kind of wonder, like, is maybe Plagueis is still the apprentice to Tenebris, the Bith Sith. Maybe he's looking for his own apprentice, and he kind of sees these two that kind of have a vibe. Maybe he wants one of them, or maybe he is Chymir's master and is looking for an apprentice, and is like seeing his apprentice like betray him. Like, we don't know.
Yeah,
why is he there? Does Chimir know him?
Yeah,
Is he kind of just creeping around? We don't know. We don't know. That's what could be answered in season 2 if it were to happen.
right. What I would surmise is that it's almost like, okay, so Plagueis had an apprentice before Palpatine. Like
Which
maybe he is
makes
older.
sense.
Yeah, because guess what? Palpatine had multiple apprentices. You got to have a fallback.
Yep. He had a different apprentice every prequel movie.
Yeah. And guess what? He's flip-floppity. He's a pancake. So Plagueis, he got the new hotness at the time, and then that was basically kind of like how Dooku got Ventress. We can say that, Chymir's looking for a Ventress, an Acolyte, to kind of follow him with the rule of 2.
Yeah,
but
maybe Plagueis is too. Maybe Chimir doesn't even know about the rule of 2. Maybe he's just like, I want to have someone to work with me. I want a coworker.
Yeah.
I don't want to be alone. I'm sad and alone.
Yeah. And meanwhile, just Plagueis saying, "Hey there, looking for a little bit of dark side magic?
Would you like to,
Yeah. Maybe we'll find it. A Sith connection."
Yeah. Plagueis, we didn't describe what he looks like. We said he has like the yellow eyes. The rest of it is Kermit the Frog.
It is. He has the neck frill of Kermit the Frog. I don't know if you knew that. But just it's actually like gray. It's a gray Kermit the Frog with yellow eyes.
Yeah, you kind of see a little bit of
hands.
glint of Miss Piggy in his eyes.
Yeah,
Like
which
he
is
lost
actually
something.
a cameo. A cameo you can see right there, and human hands.
I mean, look, Miss Piggy, same person as Yoda in real life.
That's a cameo right there.
Yeah.
That's a cameo. But yeah, we move on to Brendok, and Vernestra is closing in with her Jedi, but right now it's Sol chasing down May, and Osha and Chimir are looking for everything. Yes, Sol is screaming out, May, where are you? Very sinister, even though he's not like been shown to be like this.
No, the big reveal is that like he keeps saying it's like I wanted to save both twins. Like I really wanted to. Like he does feel really bad about May. He does love May in a way too. Not as much as Osha. She's the favorite child.
Yeah.
But May turns out she's hiding below the scaffolding off of which she fell, and Sol is confronted with that image again and goes, "No, am I failure?" And then Chimir comes back out with the helmet with like the deep Sith voice from the helmet and is like, "You led her to me. Thank you for that, buds. We'll make a great team. Let's fight now." To be fair, pretty awesome fight. It's great. The
Yeah.
the weird thing where when he jumps out the bridge, that was a cool moment. But if you look at Soul's face, it looks weird.
Yep. It's a little too calm.
He's
a little-
just like he jumps backwards off of a bridge and goes,
Yeah. Although mid jump, you're not gonna look great. You know what I mean? Like, you ever catch a runner like in photo? They don't look like a supermodel.
"Oh yeah." Every photo of me doing sports as a kid has my tongue just out of my mouth.
Yeah, which is crazy because Soul definitely was wagging his tongue like a dog. You know what I mean? But the lightsaber duel is great. During this time, Osha and May are encountering each other, and this is where we get a little point. We learn that Osha has hated May this entire time, has loathed her for what she did, and it was actually the hate that she held on to was the reason that she couldn't become a Jedi.
Yeah.
So this is where we learn that she was the dark twin or whatever.
All along, which makes sense. I'm going to say it again. They should have shown a little bit more of that anger earlier. That would have been a cool turn.
It
Because
would have.
it was like they're like they're yin yang. And so like May's the yin, Osha's the yang. Like you see like a
Yeah.
little bit of light in May when she like spares the people, and you get to see that. That's great. In Osha, this is the only moment where you really get to see the darkness, the secret darkness in her.
Yeah.
Like they just don't really show it before, and they say it. It's the show don't tell. They say it, but they don't show it. And then they start fighting. Cool moment where they cross legs, and then the lightsabers cut to the lightsabers.
And their color schemes have changed. May is wearing white while Osha's wearing dark.
They fully switched costumes because now May has Osha's costume with the pip droid attached.
Yeah. Which I guess when you put on your dark twins clothes, I guess your personality changes because that's kind of how it feels at the end here. But suddenly, we never get to see how that fight ends because we are watching Soul and Chimere. They're dueling. It's great. And
both of the ends of the lightsaber at him. He flicks him, then does like a force
repulse. Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
And then he slices Chimere's lightsaber and disarms him. And then
we see the Vernestra's ship like fly over, which distracts them for a second, distracts Osha from May disappearing. So we didn't mention when Osha and Chimere are going into the facility, Osha's like, we need to break in. We need to make sure this elevator's working, whatever, which is the thing that the Jedi did before. And then Chimere's like, there are other ways, and he's gone. And he just Batman's out of there.
I think he flew. I think he went.
Probably flew. Maybe he's like maybe teleported. Probably just flew. But yeah, so May does the same Batman disappearing trick. Disappears. Probably didn't fly herself, but yeah. Then everyone kind of converges. May is yelling at Soul, "You killed my mom! You killed my mom!" And Soul's like, yeah, I'm sorry. It was the right thing to do in the moment, but I am sorry. It was an accident." And then Osha's sitting right there, and she goes, May told me, but I didn't believe it. You killed my mom. What the fuck? And then Soul's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And it's because I love. And then Osha, full Sith, holding Soul's lightsaber, which was disarmed from him, by May. May threw it. Osha picks it up. And then starts force choking him without doing the little I crush you stance that.
She was doing a very minimal choke work.
To be fair, she was just like, it looks stupid.
But it's good. There's a couple of this feels rushed because one, those two were fighting. So how did that conclude? And two, when he is trying to explain to her that it was the right thing, she asks, then why didn't you ever tell me?
And he literally
got me there.
And he says, I wanted to, but you probably would have force choked me. Let's be honest. you're doing it now that you're finding out. You probably would have also done that before. Maybe I would have had help around though if I told you in the right, like in the temple or something.
Yeah, maybe a couple of them could have force pulled you off me.
But you wouldn't have been my Padawan anymore. You would have been forced out of the order, definitely.
Yeah, and
So,
there's a
like,
virgin.
again,
Yeah,
he's not wrong, but he's not right. She
right.
force strokes him, and she right before she kills him, he's like, it's okay. Which basically saying, I forgive you for doing this, because at the end of the day, I think we take away from this, Soul is a good person,
Yes.
just not made some bad decisions, which will come up later again.
Right. I think that's weirdly the thing they want you to get out of this, which is that people who are compassionate and kind and good can do horrific things or can do bad things, which
is good, which makes sense.
it's good. It's a good lesson. I will give you that. But again, they pull it at the very end.
Yeah, they do. But then as she's holding Soul's lightsaber, we see for the first time in live action, she bleeds his blue lightsaber, turning it red.
Oh, yeah.
And then when she turns it on Chimera, because she's still mad at Chimera for killing all her friends, it turns red. And then she goes, well, I guess I'm not angry at you anymore, Chimera, because I'm a bad guy too.
Right. Because that's
I'm
how
now
it
a
works.
Sith, and I want you to teach me how to be a Sith, because I really wanted to be a Jedi before, but now that I've killed Soul, I want to be a Sith, and you're the only one I know that can do it.
Yeah,
and
that's like...
one of the analysis that I saw of this moment was like Osha in her vision saw May killing Soul.
Yes.
And basically she took her place, which means that she basically fell on like the dark side sword. Like she fell to the dark side so that May didn't have to, in a way.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. It's almost as like one of them they're like twins, they're the same person. One of them has to be bad, one of them has to be good, I guess. So like she's like, you know what, I'll be the bad one. I'll be the one that kills people. It's fine.
Yeah.
Even though you've already killed a couple Jedi.
You've killed a lot more people than I have.
I've killed one, you've killed two. So
yeah.
How bad?
That one was strange. And also the virgins had no importance. Like there was nothing.
That's it.
We are the same person. We have the same amount of chromosomes, blood cells, bones in our body. Like our teeth are aligned the exact same way.
Yep, even though they got two different child actors to play her, which I understand why they did that.
Maybe fraternal twins. Like they became identical as they matured.
Yeah, it was a little bit weird seeing like the small differences in the little girls.
Yeah.
And seeing no difference in the big girls.
And the women.
Wrong to say. They're the same age as me. But yeah.
They're women.
Yeah, they're women. But yeah, and then basically Vernestra and the Toothy Jedi and their friends. Vernestra lands. This happens earlier. Vernestra lands and goes, "You are alive!" And then Chimera goes, "Oh shit!" and puts back on the helmet to block out the Force.
Right. So the helmet is also like a Magneto helmet that can block out.
I think they did establish that in.
No, they did establish it, but I think it's crazy that it's like, so it blocks out other people's Force, or does it block out all the Force?
Well, because he was like, "I don't want you to read my mind" in his like dark voice or whatever.
Right.
But so. Yeah, but she's recognizes him, and you're like, oh, what? Maybe those scars on his back were from a lightsaber whip.
Yeah, because I kind of figured that from the get-go, because I'm like, lightsabers don't curve.
Yeah, so they have a history that they hint at more later.
Yeah, they have a scar, and he got hit back and to the left. So there will be one magic lightsaber that we can attach that to.
They kind of hint later in the episode that like he was her apprentice before, and she thought he died after falling to the dark side. They don't explicitly say that, but they hint at it enough that it makes sense. Now
May and Osha have to go on the run, and Osha's like, "This way, come on." Apparently, no more baggage about any of we're all on the same page.
Killed all my friends. You did kill our family. You did start that fire.
You did start that fire.
You did do that. But I forgive you all. We are sisters till the end, bro.
Yeah, and they escape and they sneak out of
They go to the
the
tree.
old mining facility, and they make their way to the tree, the beautiful tree. And they're like, "Ooh, we can be safe forever. We're a couple of sisters for life, sisters hundreds of years in the making. We're the same person. Love yourself."
Yeah,
And then Kymir's like, "Hey guys,
Osha's now the obsessed sister's like, we have to stay together. And then May is like,
yeah,
I'm the good twin now, so I actually don't think that way anymore.
it's actually kind of cringe."
And Kymir's like, I could wipe your memory, girl. And she goes, you know what?
Okay, let's break this
do
down
that.
for a second. So the sisters are like, "All right, we can go on the run," and Kymir's like, "Hey, it's me."
Hey,
Um,
I only wanted one acolyte. I only want one of you.
so I know I could totally take both of you, and we could all just kind of like forgive and forget all of the weird shit that's gone down. But apparently, one of you has to stay. You
Well,
know?
if we do a season 2, we don't want the twins to be in the same place. That makes filming harder.
Right. And also, I can kind of like in Harry Potter, I can take away memories now. I can do that.
Which was a thing established by like Darth Revan in Legends.
Right. That is technically something that they could do. So good on them, reference things like that. But just like, yeah, and it's actually super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Yeah, barely an inconvenience. Yeah, they start doing their chant that we didn't mention earlier, their super creepy chant, and they're like, huh, I thought you made it up. I thought you made it up. And it's like, okay, that's a weird
It's like,
detail.
who
It's part of the
made
version.
it?
I don't like that. That creeps me out a little bit. Oh, we didn't mention that we keep going back and forth on the timeline. Osha, when she was having her asthma attack, like did use witchy powers on Chimera, made his eyes black. That was weird.
Yeah.
There's some weird witchy things going on with them.
Yeah, there's not enough witch explanation. I'd like to be witch-splained too, just
Yeah.
a little bit, just so I could figure out what these little freaks are up to.
But yeah, they leave May behind because they're like, what do you want, Osha? And Osha's like, I want to be a Sith. Okay,
Like, okay, cool.
that's a weird choice. Okay, I like
The-
bleeding the crystal, killing Soul. It was sad, but based on what we knew, based on the fact that she was angry this whole time, apparently it made
Yeah.
sense. But at the same time, it was just like it seemed like that was the end of it. After she did that, she kind of was like, "Yep." But then, like the lightsaber turned red, and then she went, "Nope, I'm a bad guy now." And it's like
yeah,
she could double back. You can just say, "I
right.
killed Soul. I'll probably still run away from the Jedi, but maybe I don't want to go on and be a serial killer still."
Right.
I know she wants
You've
to
only
be.
killed one person. You're still good on the twin side. Like you're technically May is still the darker twin.
Yeah,
until she's given the mentality of an 8-year-old.
You killed one person. You stopped that person from killing someone else earlier in the show. You killed one person who did kill your mother. So
Yes.
that is just like a vengeance story. That doesn't have to be turn to the dark side. Like Anakin, when Anakin kills all the people that killed his mother, he doesn't turn to the dark side right away.
No, it's
He
a
doesn't.
it's a
takes another
build up.
episode. Takes another episode for that to happen.
Yeah, he had to kill another batch of kids to like fully circle that square.
Yeah. He had to kill his wife.
Yeah, no, it's complicated. But
like,
anyway, so May gets her mind wiped and apparently loses the last 16 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like
it's
loses everything.
Established that they're 24, which is my age.
Yeah.
And that's like, wow, I could have been a badass Jedi by this point.
Yeah, well, could still happen. You never know. Start late in life. But Vernestra picks up May and tries to interrogate her, realizes there's nothing.
Super nice to May.
Very kind.
Like
very
really weirdly nice. She's like, you killed 2 of my friends, but I am going to tell everyone that Soul did it. I know that Soul did it, but I'm going to tell you that Soul did it. And I'm going to tell everyone. Like, you can tell she knows because she does the whole thing of like giving him a proper burial and being like, I'm sorry, Soul. But then she's like, he deluded himself and he thought he convinced himself he did a good thing. And it's like, okay, are you talking about yourself with whatever happened with Chimera? Like, and then she like tells everyone that Soul did it, that Soul killed Andara and Torben and Kelnaka, and then killed himself, which she knows is a lie, but she tells everyone else that. and she tells May that, and May is like, I don't remember anything. Ooh.
Yeah.
Your last memories from when you were 8 years old. Oh my gosh. May, just like super nice by this point, is just like, wow. Wow. Oh, man. I do seem to have some sort of inkling that the Jedi are evil, but no.
Yeah, so I think Vernestra is definitely trying to cover her ass at this point, because if they find out about May and Osha, then they find out about Chimere. And if they find out about Chimere, something's up.
So it's like super weird. And then we see a shot of Chimere's lightsaber's broken, so it's gone, but May's still holding the corrupted soul, or sorry, Osha's still holding the corrupted soul lightsaber. And then he's like, he makes his move.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like, I'm
they're
gonna
back
grab
on the
your
Last
hand on the
Jedi.
lightsaber. And it's
Yeah.
like, are they a couple now? He killed
Yeah.
her friends.
Yeah, they're on the Last Jedi planet, and Chimere, first off, Osha's just minding her own business by the water, and fucking Chimere comes up and just starts kind of looking at her, staring, and then goes to hold her hand as if she didn't see him straight up snap a dude's neck.
Snap like one of her childhood friends' neck, which say what you, I'm sure she hates the Jedi at this point. I don't think she can say she hates Yord as a person.
Yeah, I don't think she hated Jecki.
Yeah, that was one of the things in the episode where nothing happened. Like she was like, you killed Yord," and he was like, he was a bitch. And then she's like, but you also killed Jackie. She was also a bitch. She goes, yeah, okay, that makes sense. They were bitches. They were still your friends. I don't care if you don't like their religion anymore. They
Right,
were
you know
still
what?
nice to you.
Yeah, you know what? Osha's in the wrong. I feel like she's a bit in the wrong, and they treated it almost like it was a happy ending because they were smiling at the
Yeah.
sun. I
They
was
were
almost
like,
expecting Plagueis to just be in like a Hawaiian shirt up on the cliffs, like reading the newspaper, like,
oh my gosh, that would
just
have been
another
awesome.
day in paradise.
That would have been a better cameo. That would have been a better cameo.
Dude, just Plagueis the Wise just chilling and just
What if they
sipping a
didn't
brew.
show him earlier, but showed him here doing that? That would have been awesome. But yeah, they treated it like, and we're happy that Osha's a Sith now. It's good. The Sith are good. And you're like, no, they're not.
Yeah, Jedi don't kill kids.
Like, we know, you've established that the Jedi are not the good guys either, but that does not make the Sith be the good guys. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Right? The Sith, out of the two, sure, if you want to say the Jedi are evil, the Jedi are definitely the lesser of the two evils.
Yeah,
By
like,
a long
listen.
shot.
It's like, do you want democracy, which is flawed, or do you want dictatorship, which is worse, times 10? It's like, I actually want to be like ruled and dominated over. That's the world I want.
Yeah, I want my Sith overlord, a la Darth Vader, just like kill anyone he gets mad at.
Oh, yeah.
Even on his side, even after the Death Star exploded, he's still killing Imperial officers.
Yeah, like, listen, I would rather if we have to choose what wizard runs the galaxy, I'd rather take the wizards who are more of like, well, we choose as a group what to do, and we don't really get into politics, versus the weird dark wizards who are like, ooh, I'm in the shadows. Hello,
Yeah.
I'm going to light up this entire place with lightning. Ooh.
I would rather have the Rainbow Wizards than the Blood Wizards.
Yes. Nobody likes a blood wizard. Too much spilt. Hard to get out of the drapes.
Yeah, the Bloodstone Wizards.
Yeah. So we end there, and then we see Vernestra say to a person off screen, it's like, terribly sorry, Master. There's something I must tell you. And what do we see? We see, hold for it, the head of a familiar freak, a one Master Yoda.
And he goes, the one character that they said would not make a cameo on the show, which, to be fair, they wanted to save it for the punchline of season 1.
Yeah,
which is fair. I would have lied to.
Right.
But
My
Yoda
thing
is like 800 or late 700s at this point, so he's still like the wisest Jedi or one of them.
Yeah, still hot.
Still got
still
those
get it.
wrinkles that you
know what I mean? Just
fall into.
oh my god. you could just
Think about how much
light.
earwax is in those things.
I was thinking that too. I'm just like, can you imagine how many candles you could light up with that
Yeah,
thing?
I was gonna say it's gonna do the Shrek.
Oh yeah. But no, we see the back head of Yoda, which we could have gone without. To be honest,
It was cool. It wasn't bad.
you know
I'm
what
not
that felt
complaining
like?
about
It
it.
felt like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 when they when they have the room full of like the superpowers of the Sinister Six to
Yeah,
come.
yeah.
It's like, hey, well, look at Plagueis, look at Yoda. They'll never meet.
No. Are we gonna pay this off?
Nah.
Probably not. Again,
And that
I do hope that they get renewed, but I'm not hopeful.
yeah, the thing about the Acolyte is I'm kind of just like I feel like this could have been a cut and dry show, but I think you did enough where you wanted a second season.
Yeah, but the thing that I saw before, and it was like they said we don't need to do a second season because it's wrapped up, but we could. But you
Yeah,
kill off all but 3 of the main characters,
yeah, that's tough.
the twins and Chimere, which Chimere was not a main character the first few episodes, and Vernestra, I guess, is a main character now, according to episode 8.
I guess, and then I guess, well, Mother Teresa is still on the loose. I
Yeah,
gave you a theory, so there's a couple of possibilities. Either that woman, Mother Teresa,
whatever her name is.
comes back. Maybe she ends up working with Plagueis,
I think it's Mother
learning how to.
Towson. Towson?
No. So let me talk
People?
about this. So the Zabrak mom either can go and meet Plagueis and be like, well, here's the secrets of life and death and how to work with a virgins. Or my theory that I don't think you loved was, or she just becomes Mother Talzin from
Yeah.
the Night Sisters. And I'm just like, that would be lazy, but also I'm just like, well, might as well. Who gives a shit?
I think what I don't know if she'll come back. She might again. She just might just be dead. I do think Plagueis is gonna like meet Osha and have some sort of relationship with her. Maybe he becomes her master. He kills Chimera, becomes her master. Something I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Some sort of thing where he studies her, and I think he discovers virgins and discovers how to manipulate the midichlorians, and then that's how he tells Sidious, and then Sidious creates Anakin Skywalker and his own clones. So I think that's the direction that they're going with that.
Yeah.
But
that's the Acolyte. That's
I mean,
that.
you don't have soul anymore. You don't have the soul of the show.
Yeah, you're missing a few things. The virgins clearly didn't matter in season 1. If there is a season 2, maybe they would touch on it. I doubt it. The Jedi, this was a different time for them. I think that the Jedi were well represented. However, they were a little hoity-toity, high and mighty. We saw a lot of flaws in the Jedi this season. Things that I think were intentional. But yeah, I think I still take the Jedi over the Sith.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I did enjoy this series most of the way through.
Yes.
Like, way better than the comments were making it sound.
Yeah.
The comments were shitting on every little detail, just making it sound like it was the worst thing Star Wars has ever done. And it was like, no, this is probably one of the best things Disney Star Wars has done.
Yeah, the only issue is that they just couldn't stick the landing, but it was the most fresh. It was the most new ideas that could have been used. I liked where it was going.
We got to see more. We got to see more Jedi again, which we haven't gotten to see in a while.
And we got a different protagonist that had nothing to do with anything.
Skywalker saga, yeah.
Yeah, because most of it is just after Return of the Jedi. That's what all the shows have been taking place in, besides Andor. As far as live action shows go. So to go back, it kind of felt like going home again, but almost like it's like going back home before the house was yours. You know what I mean?
It's meeting all the ancestors of the Jedi and stuff, and I really enjoyed it. So Will, if you had to rank this on a scale of, you want to say a scale of 1 to 10, scale of 100, scale of 7? What do you think?
Let's scale of 1 freak to 10.
How many freaks? How many freaks out of 10?
I give this 6.5 freaks. I give it 6.5 Babu freaks.
I was gonna say 7 freaks.
7 freaks. All right.
So we're pretty close. Like,
We're pretty close.
still on the positive end. I gave it a C minus. You gave it a D. On the grading scale.
Still liked it.
Still enjoyed it. Still thought it was great. I thought it was average.
Yeah, nothing wrong with average.
It was good Star Wars. It's better than any of the sequels, which I think most people hate them. So
Yep, can't beat those statistics.
I haven't seen Ahsoka yet. Mandalorian is still pretty good.
Yep.
Way better than Book of Boba Fett. I think Book of Boba Fett's worse than the sequels, in my opinion.
Oh,
It's bad.
I would have to see it to give you
Have you
my
not
full
seen it?
opinion. I've not. I'm currently working through Tales of the Jedi, which I would love to talk about on this show sometime.
I need to watch it so we can. I can watch it and we can both be fresh at it.
Oh yeah, but yeah, this was our talk about the Acolyte.
Yep.
Pretty good show. A couple of rough edges that needed to be worked out in the end, but honestly, I think you would have a good time watching this. I know that AJ and I did.
I mean, we spoiled the whole thing, so you don't need to anymore. But
yes, but you know what? If you want to rewatch it, do it all in one sitting tonight. But until then, thank you for joining us again on Accountability Score Improvement. For the last time, it will probably be called something else next time you see us. But until then, I'm Will.
And I'm AJ.
And make sure to have yourself a pleasant day.